I stayed here last night. I have faith that the sun will come out today and dry out my stuff. There's a very high probability that I will be falling again today. Before that fall that you saw yesterday, I had fell the day before that. And right when I got to the campsite, literally, like I entered where the shelter was, and as I'm walking towards people, like say, hey, what's up? Boom. My feet came out from underneath me. Birds are chirping, sun is shining. Starting to sweat under this rain gear. It's time to change up to my shorts or whatever. Speaking on hygiene, got a great story. It's actually a disgusting story. I was somewhere that was down the hill from that fire tower last week or whenever that was, and I was getting the last bit of water I could for a couple miles. And there's a nice, beautiful stream flowing down the mountain. It's very serene, peaceful. Birds are chirping, sun is shining. I finished getting my water. I'm like, oh, let me get a little more. Meanwhile, some big bird looking girl, just looking straight out of Sesame Street, like Big Bird. Anyway, I go to lean over and like across the stream and scoop up some water, and I get this whiff of like the most fucking horrible stench. It smells like everything. Like you mix like urine, feces, and onions and everything else into one thing and like cook it up in a pot. You know? It's terrible. So I was like, oh, maybe it's just like a dead animal. Like there's some, I don't know. So then I passed that same person later on, and when I was like 15 feet behind, it was back again. I was like, yo, like basic hygiene is, I mean, I understand we're out here, we don't get to shower as much, but I'm clean every day. Like there's running water, I could rinse my arms and legs, splash some water on my face, splash some on my hair, comb my hair, take a baby wipe, and you know, every couple of days take a friggin' baby wipe and clean under your friggin' armpits and your nether regions. This is just a tip for anyone like that's gonna do this in the future. If you're a female and you're like some kind of big bird that just got out of the Sesame Street trash can with what's his name there? Oscar the Grouch. That's what I sound like right now. Anyway, if you're gonna be coming around standing, and I could, the worst thing about it is I could imagine, because I usually don't stay in shelters. I never stay in shelters. I stayed in a shelter once and it was horrible. People were snoring, burping and farting, and they stunk. And they're coughing and sneezing. If I have a tent, why would I choose to sleep next to some random stranger that has norovirus? This doesn't make sense to me. But I can imagine what a horrible night that was for the other like 10 people that slept in the shelter with Big Bird. Because she was just, man, like I have a high tolerance for things. Like when I did construction, I used to go to the bathroom in porta-johns, and it was fine. You know, and it's an awful smell, but you get used to it. It's a part of the game. But I mean, when you're out here and you have the ability to clean yourself, and you have the ability to use basic hygiene, not just for yourself, but for the people around you. And yeah, so that's my rant of the day. So anyone, male or female, if you're gonna come out here and do this, just like clean under your armpits, brush your teeth, and maybe go to a town every week and a half, 2 weeks, and take a real shower, and everyone will be happy, and no one will be running the other direction when they see you coming. Because if I see Big Bird coming, I'm out. New fauna. New fauna. New fauna. I have these in my yard. So my camera just started to get condensation in a little bit. So I opened all the doors, the battery door, the micro SD card door, and I figured I would pop the micro SD card out to dry out the camera correctly. And I just spent the past hour and a half in here. An hour and a half digging through this shit, and I finally found it. Right there, stuck in the crevice. It's a black micro SD card with brown writing on it. 90 minutes of my life down the tubes, but 25 days of footage recovered. Sometimes I try to figure out why certain gaps and bolds have certain names. I usually don't. But Teleco Gap, telephone lines, telephone company, Teleco Gap. That's right. Fuck. Switchback after switchback after switchback. I think we made it to the tippity top. The reward for that giant hike up the mountain is this. A lot of gnats up here.
No. Okay. I started to clean with dome. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, I thought you were thinking I was a stud or something. No. Only doing 208. You guys all going to Maine? We work here for the season.
Rudy, attack me for the footage.
That's not gonna happen.
Rudy's not interested. Right now I'm on top of Wesser Bald, and that was Wesser Bald Observation Tower, and that is the Natahala River. And in the center of the frame, that brown spot where you see, that's where the NOC Natahala Outdoor Center Lodge is that I'm going tomorrow. 5 miles to go. Told you Cliffside Goons. That's the equivalent of walking from the high school to the bridge, I think. After switchback. That's what I call luxury. A luxury sink in the woods. I don't even have to bend over. Look at that. I'm about to get out the mirror and the shaving razor. Yo, Big Bird. Come up here, Big Bird, and wash your pits. There's the river, the Natahala River, in the center of the frame there. So I think that I'm taking this ridge and like this, the ridge. This is a great hike right here. Top of the ridge line the whole time for miles and miles. And you got views on both sides. Getting closer to the river every step, one step at a time. Okay, where's the trail? I was very excited when it said 4.5 miles all downhill. Why is there always a catch? New animal alert. Break time. Just ate a tuna taco. It was very delicious. And I stopped and I looked at the guide, at the map, and that big rock is apparently called the jump off. So I'm just glad the jump off wasn't wet, because if it was wet then I'd really be rolling. I'd be rolling down the mountain. This must be the weak spring that the guide says at 134.5. So that means 1.5 to go. Watch your step. Fall update. I almost just bit it right there. Almost. I hope someone has the fire up when I get there. The reason being that since it's been such a heavy rainfall the past 3 days, these gnats are really bad. Pretty much everywhere I go. Top of the mountain, middle of the mountain, bottom of the mountain, near water, far from water. Yeah, they're out. And if you just stop, if you stop moving for a couple of seconds, they're swarming around your head. And they're extremely annoying. But I think a nice big fire will fix that right away. It amazes me how many people, like last week, for example, somebody, and then like yesterday or 2 days ago, whatever it was, last time that wasn't raining. It's like, oh, this is my first fire. It's like, are you kidding me? Your first fire. You've been out here for 20-something days. And you go in shelters, and you sleep in them or sleep outside of them, and you never, ever make a fire. You and the 20 or 30 people that are surrounding you, too. I find that bizarre. Again, that's just my thing. Maybe I'm better at camping than hiking, but I look forward to every single night lighting a fire and just, I don't know. I guess you'd call it the wilderness television, if you will. Correction. Where those people were, that was the seasonal spring. So, 1.5 miles from here.